Was there as they pulled that man out. And Haley, how's he doing and how did they pull off this rescue?
Luckily, that man is doing about as well as he could tonight. He was quickly rushed to the hospital after that rescue happened. His injuries weren't immediately conveyed to us. But the important thing is that he is alive tonight, because a lot of things could have gone wrong. This is where that rescue happened. You can see that hole has been filled in since this evening, but it was not an easy rescue. It required a lot of machinery, equipment, and patience. And it wasn't just sand that these rescue crews had to worry about. By the time they arrived here, water had already filled up to that man's chin, and time was crucial. For hours, fire rescue crews surrounded this pile of sand, focused on a man trapped below it.
He's stuck in a clay, sticky, sugar sand mess, almost like quicksand, up to his waist.
Around 3:45 Monday afternoon, someone called 911 at the site at Old Pasco Road and Quail Hollow Boulevard in Wesley Chapel. There'd been a collapse. A construction worker was partially buried in a small trench, and water was beginning to fill the hole. By the time Pasco Fire Rescue arrived, the water had risen to the man's chin.
So we immediately started using the vacuum trucks on scene. We called for the trench rescue team from Hillsborough County. We called for our special operations team.
It was no quick rescue. The tightly packed sand put immense pressure on the man's body, and recent rain left the ground very saturated.
Every time they start to vacuum that sand out, more sand is sliding in, because it's all very, very wet.
2 hours in, progress. The sand was down to his knees.
We can't just yank on him, and it could cause further dislocations. It could cause further injury.
And finally, just after 6 p.m., patience and strategy paid off. The man was carefully hoisted up in a harness, loaded into an ambulance, and flown to the hospital.
There was cheers from everybody, from his co-workers that were there. Everybody was high-fiving. He was alert and talking.
Those who witnessed the rescue.
It was a good feeling. It was a good feeling.
Breathed a sigh of relief.
We were glad that he was okay, and we kind of wanted to see him get out of there. I'm an electrical worker, and if that were me, I'd be glad to have that kind of help.
And that worker was flown to St. Joseph's Hospital to be assessed for his injuries. He was alert, conscious, and breathing throughout the entire extrication. It wasn't immediately clear what company he worked for or what type of work was being done at the time that the trench collapsed. But obviously tonight, a lot of relieved fire officials and men who worked with this worker here today, knowing just how dangerous this was and how many ways all of this could have gone badly. But luckily, he is doing okay tonight.
Yeah, big relief to see him out of there and being wheeled away from that situation, and hopefully he's on his way to a speedy recovery. Thanks, Haley. We have an update for you now on a deadly